and we're joined by Shreveport Substitute Police Chief Ben Raymond. I thank you for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We want to talk about the downtown, that video of these folks just acting stupid.
Yes, ma'am.
And whether or not the police department can take action. Will you be taking action? What's the plan from SPD's point of view?
Yeah, so we already have taken action. I was actually made aware of one of the videos via a social media post early Saturday morning. And what's a little bit concerning about it is the incident in which shots may have been fired was not reported to police. We became aware of it when the citizens became aware of it. We immediately launched an investigation at that point. We've already interviewed at least one of the parties involved, and so we're working to make some arrests if necessary and certainly fully investigate that incident. The second one was a fight that occurred downtown. It was reported to police, and officers did go to the scene and make sure that everything was safe. But it is also, we'll investigate thoroughly to make sure that we acted appropriately, and if any charges need to be filed in that case, that we'll do so.
In the case of the pickup truck driving through downtown, the video doesn't really clearly show what sparked that. Can you shed any light on that?
I really can't. We're still kind of early in the investigative process, but that's exactly what our detectives are going to determine is where did that incident occur. I doubt it started right there in the middle of Texas Avenue. It probably spewed over from something that occurred earlier in the evening, and that's exactly what we need to find out. I
know you would want to tell people this because I think about it all the time. If you're in traffic and people approach your vehicle, this guy shouldn't have gotten out of that truck, correct?
Certainly not. You need to drive away. That's the safest thing to do. It's the smartest thing to do. And then secondly, call the police immediately. Let us know what's going on so that we can respond.
What about police presence, beefing up police presence downtown? Is that something you're looking at immediately?
We're looking at all our resources and how they're allocated. We do have a specific division that is assigned to work downtown, but we are going to be increasing some patrols in the near future and doing some different things. So you will see a visible notice in the number of officers. There will also be some things going on that will not be as visible, some plainclothes investigations.
There was a report that in the video, you can see somebody in the video that looks to have a uniform on, may have been a police officer. What do you know about that?
That's the first that I've heard of that. I don't recall seeing anybody in the video that appeared to be a police officer. But I'm not going to rule that out because I'm not actually conducting the investigation myself. So certainly, if we find out one of our officers was there or an officer was there, we'll investigate thoroughly.
Can I shift gears with you a minute, Chief? I think you're pretty open to that.
Certainly, yes,
Civil Service Board has a meeting today with regard to your position. What is happening today? Can you tell us what's going on? Is it a 30-day deal? Like every 30 days you have to be reapproved by that board?
It is, and so Civil Service Board is going to basically rule today to accept or not my appointment as substitute police chief. So we just provide some documents that show that the Chief Crump is on approved leave, medical leave, and so during that time frame, I will be the substitute chief.
What can you? I've talked to Mr. Perkins, and he's been meeting with department heads. Have you had a meeting with him? Do you want this job permanently?
I do. I met with Mayor-elect Perkins on Saturday. I had a good conversation with him, and certainly I'll be throwing my name in the hat and hope to be given an opportunity to continue some of the things I've started.
What's the process for? Do you have to retake the civil service exam? Do the old scores hold up? What's the procedure for that?
The old scores are no longer active. I believe the chief's test is good for 18 months, and so it's been beyond the 18-month window since we last tested, which was 2016. So anybody that wants to apply will have to take the civil service test, which has not been scheduled as of yet, and then go through whatever process Mayor-elect Perkins dictates.
Could that happen imminently, or do we need to wait till Chief Crump is officially retires? Any idea?
That's really going to be up to the mayor's decision. Now, you could have an active test at any point that you wanted. The city could keep an active chief's test if they so desired. I think normally you wait until there's an opening, but certainly the mayor has the right to approach the Civil Service Board to call for a chief's test if he chose to do so.
Now, the civil service meeting today, will you become certified as chief? Ron Machota told us you were not yet certified as police chief, and that makes a difference in
right.
some things.
Yeah, so you're not actually even what they consider a permanent chief until you get through a working test period of 1 year, and that none of that occurs during the substitute time frame. So at this point, I'm just exactly that. I'm a substitute police chief. It's a civil service rule wording, which means that the acting employee is on an approved leave and cannot act in the function of the chief of police, and so the substitute carries full authority and benefits of the chief's office. So it is a bit of a process still ahead.
Gotcha. Chief, we're talking to Chief Ben Raymond, the substitute chief for Shreveport Police. Can you share anything about your plan for SPD if you are the choice of Mayor Perkins that you plan to implement in 2019? Anything that the citizens will see and feel more comfortable about?
I hope so, and I've been open that my goal is to increase our footprint with regard to community-oriented policing, which means we want the officers in the community to learn to work better with each other. So that involves officers engaging citizens in conversations outside of the calls we're working, and it involves the citizens opening up to police officers and being willing to engage them in a conversation and share things with them and put trust back in the police department. So that hope to be a noticeable change. And secondly, we're looking at increasing the boots on the ground, our patrol program, as many officers as we can get on the streets in uniformed vehicles to respond to citizens' requests and to be proactive in our efforts. That's a goal of mine.
Are you getting any complaints yet for a higher profile approach? Like, say you go down this next weekend and have officers out there on the street in the bar areas. Are you getting complaints that the police are too present yet?
I have not. Nobody's complained that they've been seeing too much of us. No, sir.
Ben Raymond, the substitute police chief in Shreveport, I want to thank you for your time this morning. Also, let me extend a thank you to all of Shreveport police and firefighters who have helped us with Operation Santa Claus. I know you probably haven't been in our building, but we are inundated with toys that your folks are going to be delivering in the next couple of days to local kids, and I can't thank you enough for all those efforts.
Thank you. We're very excited to be a part of that program. I think that's excellent on our part and on yours.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your time this morning.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime. Merry Christmas.